What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys either like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all. A lot of people believe that the introduction of the gig apps has had a very positive impact. Not only does it provide the convenience to have goods delivered to your home, sometimes at work, it also does open up the opportunity for a lot of people to make some additional money. And what's not great about that, right? Well, unfortunately, there is also a dark side to these gig apps. Between the ongoing controversial topic of whether or not you should or shouldn't tip your driver, and the fact that drivers have to constantly jump through hoops just to make the same amount of money, and yet it seems that they're doing more work. You may not realize it, but the company's playing a game here, and it's them versus the drivers and the customers. And the question is, who's really getting taken advantage here? So let's start on the customer side. As a customer, do you feel like you really know where your money is going in terms of how much the driver is actually getting paid? And no, I don't mean as far as them knowing that drivers are underpaid, and that's based off the information that is available on the internet. I mean, literally the moment when they open up their app and they're placing an order, it goes through the list of everything that they're paying for. So the cost of the goods that they're ordering, taxes, of course, your fees, delivery fees, service fees, and then after all of that, you have your section for the tip. Where in that equation does it say how much the driver is actually going to get paid other than that tip? Or so they say that 100% of the tip goes to the driver, right? There's no transparency at all. And on top of that, there are still a lot of people that truly believe that when they're ordering through these apps, they're actually dealing with an employee of that company. But of course, we know that's not the case most of the time. And for the most part, we're talking about the basic apps. So your food delivery, grocery delivery. But what about when you order from a well-known retail store and you order directly through their website? So let me go ahead and give you guys a story. So a few weeks ago, I was trying to go and spruce up the backyard. I wanted to go ahead and do some yard work while my husband was at work. So I went back and forth to Home Depot, and I was replacing this mulch and replacing it with rocks. So after 2 trips and me still not having enough rocks to cover the area I was trying to cover, I was exhausted. I think those bags were like 30 pounds each. And knowing that I still needed more bags, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna order these, and I don't want to do curbside pickup because I honestly just don't want to go out. I'm exhausted. I will just go ahead and do delivery. I have an option to get it delivered to me same day, and it's only a few extra dollars, so I might as well. And as I'm going through the process of checking out and everything, I see everything tallying up, and I notice there is not a section to leave a tip. And I really wanted to leave a tip. You know, I was like, I just want to show my gratitude because these bags are heavy, right? So since I wasn't able to go ahead and leave a tip directly on the order screen, I left in the notes, I said, hey, please leave the rocks by the garage, but please come and ring the doorbell. And that's because I wanted to actually give them a cash tip. So a few hours went by. They didn't specify as far as when the delivery was going to be. And about 3 or 4 hours later, I got an email saying that my order was delivered. So the person that delivered my items didn't follow instructions. They actually brought the rocks up to my doorstep and just left it there. They didn't even ring the bell. I did end up checking my cameras, and I saw it was actually somebody who was delivering this out of their personal car. So obviously he was working off an app. I don't know if it was Roadie, I don't know if it was Spark or another platform, but clearly this is a gig worker, but I didn't have the opportunity to leave a tip. And that's even after I paid all of those fees to have these rocks delivered to my doorstep. I completely sympathize with customers, and I understand that when you're seeing fees on top of fees on top of fees, and then you're asked to tip on top of that, and you're like, why? I've already paid like close to triple the amount of what the actual item was in fees, and I'm still being asked to tip. But you are paying for the convenience. I still think these services are luxuries, and there is a cost to that. But the question still remains, what are these service fees? What are the delivery fees? And what's up with the items being marked up in price? Some people might think, well, that extra money is going to the driver. That's actually not the case. And regardless of if you have their subscription service to lower those fees, you know, depending on the platform, that driver may only get a few dollars before tips. Drivers, they're responsible for everything. So to provide that service, they're technically coming out of pocket to do so. There's no company car. There's no reimbursement. All of that they have to pay themselves. Gas, maintenance, and of course, they have to pay taxes on this little bit of money that they do get throughout the year. And sure, you can go ahead and write off your mileage, you can write off your gas and all the expenses that come with your car, but that still doesn't equate to much. So yeah, even after paying all of those fees, the drivers, they're still not getting the best end of the deal here. So where's all that money going? Ironically, there was someone in Colorado who's a member of the House of Representatives. They were a former gig worker at one point, and they were trying to go ahead and write a bill to force these companies to be transparent about where this money is going. So you're charging this fee, upcharging this, charging the restaurants that. Where's all this money going to? How much is actually going to the driver? Guess what? That got shot down with the quickness. And I wonder why. Because keep in mind, a lot of these apps have been found guilty of stealing tips. So it's honestly no surprise that they don't want you to know where the money is really going. The fees keep going up, but the pay keeps going down for the drivers. So drivers become more reliant on tips. And the pay is just one of the issues that a lot of drivers have to deal with. Let's talk about DoorDash for a minute. DoorDash likes to tease its pay. Sometimes you have that total may be higher on an offer. And honestly, it is a gamble. The actual amount that you will get paid for that order, it's hidden. Well, they want to entice you. They want to go ahead and get this potentially crappy order delivered. Sometimes that hidden pay, it can be an additional 25 cents. Sometimes it can be an additional $25. You just have to decide if you want to play that game. What about the earn by time? Well, earn by time is not what it seems. They advertise it like you're getting an hourly rate, like an employee, right? But that's not the case. You're only paid for your active time. So while you're sitting, waiting for another order to get sent to you, you're not getting paid for that. And then you have stacked orders. Stacked orders are on multiple platforms. And while they may seem like a pretty good payout up front, a lot of times if you actually separate it, you can see that you're probably taking a no-tip order that really isn't worth taking by itself. So they're essentially tricking people to do more work for less money. And best of all, let's not forget about the infamous acceptance rate. The acceptance rate, honestly, I feel like it's treating people more like an employee that has to meet a quota in order to get their benefits, because that's exactly what it is. They pretty much tell you, well, if you decline too many orders, you won't get the opportunity to get these better paying orders. And keep in mind, that's just the possibility of getting higher paying orders. So hey, go ahead and take this no tip order. You got to drive 10 miles for $2 or $3. But guess what? If you take this order, you're one step closer to getting priority, and you can potentially get a higher paying order in the future. These are just a few things that drivers have to deal with on a regular. So when drivers cherry pick, it's nothing personal, but people have bills to pay, and they're just taking the orders that are worth it to them because that's what allows them to do so. You can't pay your bills if you're essentially delivering for free. The money that you made is probably just going to go back into your tank if you're not smart about it. And this is why a lot of people see tipping as more of a bid than anything. Because by leaving a good tip, you're essentially ensuring that a driver is actually going to pick up your order in a timely manner. And that's because that order is worth it for them. Whereas if you don't, well, you're more likely to run into the problem where your food takes a long time, it's cold by the time you get there, and sometimes you might be met with an individual who may not be providing you the best service. Now, is that all the time? No, but the likelihood of that happening goes up. It just depends on what drivers are out there doing their deliveries. Your experience is going to vary every single time. And this is exactly why I preach tipping. Because all of these things that I just went over, these are things that drivers have to deal with on a daily basis, because it's about respecting the driver and all of this that they have to go through. But regardless, at the end of the day, both parties are being played. The company is doing exactly what's best for them, And yes, it is at the expense of drivers and customers. So what do you do about it? As a driver, if you're taking these crap orders and falling into their traps, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Don't take those orders. Force them to raise the price on that order. You do not have to be loyal to these apps. If your preferred app is just ain't acting right, move over to another app. You do not have to deal with these companies' games. And as customers, honestly, the main thing you can do is speak with your wallet. The company can't function if they're not getting any money. So if you really don't agree with how the drivers are being treated and how much you're being charged, don't use the platforms, or at least cut back. Honestly, we just have to try to come together and try to do our part in showing these companies that this is unacceptable. Like I mentioned before, these apps, they definitely provide a convenience for people, and they provide the opportunity for people to make money. But clearly the company has shifted its focus, and now they're more concerned about profits rather than providing a quality and affordable service and making sure that their drivers are compensated fairly for the work that they're doing. So will anything change? Well, only time will tell. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I would love to know your thoughts about this topic. Do you feel like either the drivers or the customers are being taken advantage of more, or do you think they're equally being taken advantage? Let me know in the comments. Now, before I go, I have to remind you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.